he has come too.
Other than bright cell phone screens, loud people, and the occasional guy in a trench coat, one of the worst things that could happen to you in a movie theater is realizing that the rug is being pulled from under your feet. You think you're about to watch a good movie that has lots of potential, only to realize that you've been tricked by marketing and your own goodwill. This is exactly how I felt after watching Alien Romulus. By the way, before I continue, spoilers. The perspective of watching a new Alien film directed by someone other than Ridley Scott and years after the last Alien was pretty interesting. I don't usually watch trailers, and the only information I had about this film was the director, that it was set between Alien and Aliens, and that it was going to use the retro-futuristic aesthetics of the original film. That was enough to make me interested, and I felt like I was going in as blind as I wanted to go. And at first, things were going pretty well. One of the most interesting aspects of the Alien franchise is how the events of these stories happen within the context of an oppressive rule of corporations during a period of galactic colonization. The details of this setting is something Alien fans only got a chance to see in the expanded universe, through novels, comics, and games. So getting a chance to see what a mining colony actually looks like in live action was really cool. That is the kind of stuff I have wanted to see in an Alien film for years. The struggle of the people in the Alien universe. And that's how Alien Romulus kicks off. The protagonist, Rain Carradine, is one of the many orphans of workers who have lived and died trying to build a life for themselves, doing back-breaking, soul-crushing work for the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, the biggest villain of this franchise. She lives with a defective Weyland-Yutani android called Andy. She treats him like a brother and protects him from harm.
Stay out of trouble, all right?
Rain, just like her father and many others, will probably die on this planet after a horrible life of indentured servitude. That's when some of Rain's acquaintances, including an ex-boyfriend, show up with a plan to get away from all of this. They are going to invade a derelict Weyland-Yutani space station, use Andy as a way to bypass security, steal the hypersleep pods, and escape to a planet that is out of the reach of the corporation. As expected, things go terribly wrong. There are xenomorphs in the space station, and all hell breaks loose. This is probably the moment where I gotta say that Alien Romulus is not a bad film, but I do think it's mediocre, at times tremendously flawed. And sometimes a mediocre film with bad parts that keep dragging the good parts down is definitely worse than a straight up bad film. One of the main reasons for its mediocrity is how much this movie wants to set you up for good stuff, and then it never delivers. The xenomorph itself stops being scary pretty fast. It was at its scariest when it was a facehugger, in some truly impressive and wonderfully directed scenes, where so much happens and Fede Alvarez manages to focus really well on the action without confusing the viewer. It's well shot, well edited, it's exciting really, but that's pretty much it. The facehugger scenes are very cool, but things deflate pretty fast. The chestburster scene was okay, I guess, and granted, had a very cool portable X-ray shot. Other xenomorphs show up later without much purpose and giving the characters very little to emote. And this is an Alien movie, goddammit. The whole point of the monster, other than killing people, is to make the characters and the audience emote. My favorite scene in Alien Romulus is when Rain, Andy, and Tyler are locked behind a door. On the other side of this door is Tyler's sister Kay and a xenomorph. Andy is the only one who can open the door, but he also knows that the door takes 2 seconds to open and 2 seconds to close, which is enough time for the xenomorph to go through. Neither Tyler nor Rain are strong enough to force Andy to open it. They can't really do anything at all. So as the alien comes closer and closer to Kay, the only thing Tyler can do is beg. Soon, Kay is finally taken away. It's a horrifying scene filled with so much tension and despair. The setup is simple and shot very efficiently, the cuts bouncing us between each character's feelings as the xenomorph approaches. What sells this scene is these people clashing, the range of emotions they're displaying that they're going through. Anger, fear, horror, confusion. It all creates conflict. It made me empathize with everyone there, and I felt so bad, especially for Tyler. And later on, he dies in such a stupid way, but we will discuss that later, you just wait. This whole scene I just talked about was such a harrowing experience with just one alien. Like I said, a bunch more show up later just to be treated like the usual fodder, another bug hunt. And I've seen that already in a much cooler film. That sentiment, by the way, is pretty common in Alien Romulus. I have seen this before in a better film. If the xenomorph is not truly constantly creating tension and it's just set aside as an excuse for a set piece to happen, I have no clue why it should be in the film. At this point, you just put this fucker in front of the park and give it a silly hat. On the other hand, the new monster that shows up at the end of the film is...
God, what the fuck is that?
It's a legitimately creepy design, and the way it's introduced is pure nightmare fuel. It's this slender, uncanny shape of a creature staring at you from the dark, the imperfectly perfect mix of the engineers from Prometheus and the xenomorph. None of these words are in the Bible, by the way, and neither is this fucking thing. And while I really liked the new monster and how it was used, I gotta say, this unfortunately brings me back to my disappointment with the xenomorphs in this film. If you gotta create a new monster to pull off something scary in an Alien film, that means you gave up on the alien altogether. And this movie doesn't have just a xenomorph problem, it has a character problem too. Rain herself is such a mixed bag. She's the most egregious case of an alien protagonist being a discount Ellen Ripley. It's just that it takes a while until we realize that that's what she is. By far much worse than Daniels from Alien Covenant. And that's probably what pisses me off the most. Daniels is a character that just did not have much going for her other than being one of the protagonists. But Catherine Waterston is so good in that film, with a script that did not offer her much room to work with, and she still managed to deliver an awesome performance. She was working with very little and delivered a lot. And here we are, we have come to this. Alien Romulus is forcing my hand and making me say good things about Prometheus, because Elizabeth Shaw is a fantastic protagonist and should have been a good example for future films. At no point did she ever feel like just another Ripley.
Oh God!
Rain has a good actress, the compelling backstory, the motivation, it's all there, but as much as the script is all about her and Andy, their richness as characters is not being taken advantage of. And action scenes and set pieces don't really count as a good use of these characters. Sure, it's cool that they made a scene around the idea of shooting xenomorphs when there's no gravity as a way to deal with the acid, or the scene where they freeze the facehugger's tail as a way to get it off someone. That was also good, but these are just a couple of good ideas you talk about with your friends or when you're posting on a forum. I mean, why should I care about your solution to remove the facehugger if the chestburster still kills Navarro anyway? It feels pointless because it has no actual consequence. It's just there as a solution to a problem we have seen in other films, but doesn't solve the problem. She still dies.
Please don't let me die.
This is the kind of creative exercise that exists for nothing, but I bet Reddit loved it. While Rain and Andy are really engaging, they deserve to be in a better movie. Andy is the best character in this film, which isn't a surprise considering that the androids of the Alien franchise are often one of the best and most engaging parts of these films. Romulus deserves to treat its story as a narrative that helps these characters flourish. That's the source of my disappointment with this film. There is a good movie buried in there, I just wasn't allowed to see it. Thanks, Fede Alvarez, you gave us a cookie-cutter Alien film. That's great, man. Can I maybe get some good fucking food next time? Cookie Cutter just so happens to be the last thing you'd call a movie like Prometheus or Alien Covenant. And you can totally think those movies are bad, by the way. I myself don't like Prometheus, but I wouldn't say it's just another Alien film. I'd like to reiterate that I'd rather watch a bad movie I can sink my teeth into instead of a mediocre one I'm just going to spit out. And speaking of spitting out, I think it's a good time to talk about how this film continues an unfortunate Hollywood trend of abusing nostalgia. Remember when I mentioned Tyler's death? Check this out. Is that all you got? What the fuck are you talking about? You're not even shooting them. And then he just dies. I don't get it. You have a shot dedicated to Tyler pointing the gun at the xenomorphs, but you hear no shots. Did they just forget to add that? It's weird. It's frustrating, really. This death is obviously supposed to be a reference to Hudson's death in Aliens.
Oh, you want some of that? Fuck you! Fuck you!
The thing is, Hudson was an entertaining, interesting, annoying, fun character who was with us from the start, making his presence known.
Express elevator to hell. Going down. Check it out. I am the ultimate badass. Yeah. State of the badass art. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Tell me one iconic line you heard from this motherfucker. I cared about Hudson, even if I was just watching people telling him to shut up or watching the man have a meltdown.
Think of something. We better think of a way.
Think of what? We're fucked. Shut up. We're doomed. Shut up.
This little girl survived longer than that with no weapons and no training. Right?
Why don't you put her in charge?
You better just start dealing with it, Hudson.
I care about Hudson way more than I will ever care about Tyler. Tyler is just a throwaway character who will never become as iconic as Hudson has. He's just a guy who's there for a couple of references and then he dies. So many scenes that had an opportunity to be unique ended up ruined by the need to shove a little reference to other movies. And that just kills the pacing, the immersion, and the characterization.
Get away from her. You bitch.
Dude, okay, seriously? You are definitely the best actor in this film. And I really mean it when I say Andy is the best character in this film. But you do not say,
"Get away from her, you bitch!"
after Sigourney Weaver. You just don't. It sounds ridiculous. It's like in Predators when Adrien Brody takes his shirt off and tries to echo Schwarzenegger. I mean, cool. Good stuff, Adrien Brody. You look really buff. I'll give you that. But have you seen Arnie? These attempts at replicating stuff from past films more often than not just pale in comparison. Having characters in this movie quoting other characters from previous movies gives me this weird, uncomfortable impression that the Alien franchise exists inside the Alien universe. And that makes everything feel cheap and artificial. And we are not even talking about the biggest offender in this nostalgia fest. This weird deep fake doll pretending to be Ian Holm. Wasn't Peter Cushing enough? The guy died 30 fucking years ago, and it was already not okay to do this in Rogue One. But Ian Holm died 4 years before the release of Romulus, and Disney still thought it was tasteful to make this aberration. One of the essential parts of Alien Romulus' plot is the fact that the xenomorph from the original film didn't actually die, and was recovered by Weyland-Yutani. But then things go wrong, and our good old big chap kills a bunch of the people in the station. I honestly hate the fact that after this piece of information was given to me, I kept wishing I was watching a movie about that, instead of whatever the fuck was happening here. And the fake Ian Holm is not even playing the same character. This isn't Ash. This is a completely different dude. His name is Rook? What? Didn't they have anyone else to play a sinister evil android? Anthony Hopkins, Sterling K. Brown, Tilda Swinton, Jonathan Groff, these people weren't available? Or anyone else? Was the best option really to use a computer to badly reanimate a corpse? What about Michael Fassbender? Get Fassbender, man. This movie already makes a connection with Prometheus. Why not make this connection stronger? This is insane. Mickey Mouse is going to drive me insane. That son of a bitch is actually going to kill me dead. Okay, hot take. Alien 3 is better than Alien Romulus, especially the assembly cut. Also, Alien Covenant is a better homage to the Alien franchise than Alien Romulus. Also, Prometheus is... okay, it's not better, but at least it was trying to be something other than a rehash. Also, I'm not gonna say Alien Resurrection is better than Alien Romulus, but Alien Resurrection has a guy disassembling parts of a wheelchair to assemble a double-barreled shotgun. It has Ron Perlman shooting with a gun disguised as a thermos bottle, and it has Winona Ryder and a very buff Sigourney Weaver 5 seconds away from making out.
It's too late.
Oh my god, Romulus doesn't have any of that, so do what you will with that information. Also, The Godfather 3? Pretty good. This has nothing to do with Alien. I just watched The Death of Michael Corleone the other day and I liked it. It's pretty good. I would rather watch Ridley Scott's self-indulgences bomb at the box office again and again than watching the self-indulgences of a Ridley Scott fanboy. There is very little of Fede Alvarez's directorial identity here, and what is there is very strong at first, but not strong enough to survive something as soulless as the story in this film. I'm sorry, you can't convince me that Alien Romulus has the sauce, because any sauce it has are basically leftovers from 6 different fucking films. It's the Rise of Skywalker of the Alien franchise. It's the Spider-Man No Way Home of the Alien franchise. It's a film that stands on the shoulders of better things, tricking you into thinking you're watching a good movie. And that's the Disney model. Nostalgia has become an insidious, monstrous virus, weaponized by corporations to make you feel the illusion of love. Love for a memory echoed by inferior products. It exists to make up for a lack of effort and earnestness. Nostalgia is good when you feel it by yourself or with some friends or family. It's supposed to be something personal and special. But big corporations for decades now have taken it from individual people and turned it into a standardized experience everyone has to feel together in the same exact way. Even something as pure and somewhat indescribable as nostalgia was turned into a factory-made, crafted product. Stories and themes become now merely excuses to sell this product. I don't know where the Alien franchise is going next. I don't know if Ridley Scott is making another David film to maybe close a trilogy, or if it's going to another creator again. Whether the next movie is directed by Fede Alvarez or someone else, it should not be greenlit if there isn't something relevant to say other than asking you if you remember the other movies. We should be spared of the ridiculous experiment that was Alien Romulus, a movie that successfully convinced lots of people that this is somehow a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I don't hate this movie, but I do hate what it represents. What did you think of Alien Romulus? Let me know in the comments. If you want to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, then you're out of luck, because my videos are not usually this negative. However, if you want more thoughtful introspections about the things that I do enjoy, then please, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. This has been today's Dystopia, and I'll see you next time.